What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Evan, and you know most of the necklace. So as you guys can tell, this will be the start of the blown head gasket videos. So this will be part one, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton of videos that will be coming out. So I want you guys to be aware that we will be starting the, whole head gasket repair on the 300 SRT. We'll be fixing the head gasket. We're going to be pulling the heads off, taking the intake manifold off. We're going to take everything off from the top part of the motor. We're going to get the car ready so we can fix up the blown head gasket. And while we're in there, we're probably going to go ahead and fix some other stuff now that we're in there, because now is the time to do it. Now that we have some of the stuff apart, we can actually get to what we need to replace. We'll have more room or more access to it, so that's what we're going to be doing. So today will be the start, or this will be the start of the blown head gasket series or videos, whatever you want to call it. So this will be the first video, and I just wanted to hop in and let you guys know that we will be fixing the head gasket. Fortunately, I believe, from what I understand from the previous owner, who was the person who I bought the vehicle from, he had told me that the car came originally from Texas, then Alabama, then to New York. So I believe either that previous owner who I bought it from here in New York, or the owner previous to him, was the one who was racing the car. From what I understand, Texas is a place for heavily modified vehicles. Every night people come out and race their cars. You'll see on YouTube and whatnot, you'll see people racing their cars on the highway. So I'm not sure if the car that was in Texas at that moment in time was beat the crap out of, and then when they moved to Alabama, then to New York, the problem just carried on, in other words. So in other words, it was beat up, it was badly beat during its time in Texas, and then Alabama, and then to New York, and then that's when the problem got worse. I'm not sure, I'm not entirely sure. Or it could have been that the previous owner was the one who beat the crap out of the vehicle, and then it just overheated, and then I believe they must have put some head gasket sealer in, because when I did the flush on the heater core and I put everything back together, when I first started the vehicle, there was a ton of white smoke coming out of the back of the tailpipe. And when I saw it, I kind of came to the realization that there must be some sort of head gasket sealer. So when the hot water went through the system, and then the car warmed up, it broke the head gasket sealer, and it just caused the car to overheat. So I think that's what exactly happened. I'm not sure if the guy in Texas was the one who caused the vehicle to overheat. In other words, that was the start of when the vehicle was beating the crap out of, or it could have been the owner who I just bought it from here in New York. So I'm not entirely sure, but I know the car was probably raced, because there's no way the car would have a blown head gasket if it was properly maintained and wasn't beating the crap out of. So if it was pushed hard on the highway, most likely it overheated and whatnot. And I'm sure if they didn't tune the fans and whatnot, that also didn't help to keep the temps where it needs to be, or keep the radiator or the engine motor where it needs to be in terms of operating temperature. So there's a lot of stuff that could have happened. I believe the car was beating the crap out of, and somebody raced it, or didn't take good care of it, and it just happened that when I bought it, I didn't really properly test the system, and that's what really caused the car to go bad. So all right, you guys, so pretty much from what we understand and from what we know, basically the car was overheated. Somebody was beating the crap out of it, and somebody had poured in head gasket sealer. So I'm not sure if this was the owner who I bought the vehicle from here in New York, or from the owner in Alabama or Texas or whatnot. Somebody poured in head gasket sealer, and I'm pretty sure the head gasket sealer won't last more than 2 or 3 years. Especially if the person is constantly beating the crap out of the vehicle, racing the vehicle, and eventually the head gasket sealer will eventually break down over time, and the car will just go back to overheating. So in order for it to get fixed, you would need to obviously remove the heads, get them sent out, put in a brand new gasket and whatnot. There's a lot to it, but you would know. So pretty much, just to confirm, I know you guys saw the coolant and the steam coming out, not the coolant flying up, but the steam coming out of the coolant reservoir. So just to be 110% sure, just as a final action, I pretty much went to the garage, grabbed the black test heater. It's basically a clear syringe, big fat syringe, and what I did was I poured in the blue liquid, placed it on top of the coolant reservoir, started the vehicle up, squeezed it a couple of times, and as the coolant steam that mixes with the fluid turns from blue to yellow, that's a clear indication that you have a blown head gasket. So before making a final decision of taking everything apart, I wanted to just make sure one last time. So I went ahead and did the black test heater. I should have done that actually when I first bought the vehicle, when I brought the vehicle home, so I kind of know before I start taking everything apart. But regardless of that, I was going to change it anyways, but went ahead and did the black test heater, and I confirmed that we had a blown head gasket. So that was pretty much it. So what you guys are going to see now is pretty much all the videos that we went ahead and or this will be the start of all the videos that you guys will see of me basically fixing up the motor with the blown head gasket. So we're going to go in there, we're going to clean everything up, we're going to try to do as neat of a job as we can. We're going to replace things now that we have a ton of stuff taken apart, and it's pretty much going to be a badass car once we finish it. So hopefully you guys are happy, hopefully you guys are excited, and definitely ready to stay tuned for the videos. So we're pretty much just going to get right into it. So enough of me talking, let's just get into it, and let's get into fixing this SRT8. Let's go, baby. going on, you guys? So it's the next day. As you guys saw yesterday, we removed all of the head bolts off of the head. So we're gonna go ahead today, we're gonna get a flathead long screwdriver and just gently pry up the head so we can get it off of the head gasket. Obviously it's been compressed, so we need to, separate it. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna throw in we're gonna insert a flathead screwdriver and just gently pry it up so we can get the heads off. We can get the exhaust manifold off. So I did go ahead and off camera, I removed the exhaust manifold bolts off of the exhaust underneath. So there's two bolts, one on the top, one on the bottom. I'm sure you can get the exhaust manifold off without having to remove the head if you're doing, let's say, long tube headers. But this car has stock manifolds, so I'm just gonna go ahead and we're gonna just, like I just said before, I removed the two bolts of the exhaust manifold that connects to the pipe to the rest of the exhaust system. So I'm just going to lift the head up and pull the exhaust manifold out with it, and then inside the garage I'm going to take it apart so we can get the head sent out to the machine shops and they get the heads resurfaced, do a whole complete head job with the valve springs and all that good stuff. So they're going to go ahead and make sure the head is not warped. So if it is warped, we're going to do what they do. And we're just going to go ahead and get the heads removed so we can get the cars finished, hopefully before the weather starts to get cold. So today we're just going to get the heads out, and then I'll show you guys what I do inside the garage. So it's a lot of work to do, so let's get to work. Alright, you guys, so pretty much everything has been taken apart. Intake manifold, valve cover gaskets, the top of the bolts of the push rods have been taken out. All the push rods have been taken out. The bolts on top for the push rods have been taken out. Bolts on the head bolts have come out as well. All the electrical connections, any connections on the back of the head, stuff like that. Everything has been taken apart. When you do this job, you got to take out everything. This here was, I cut the wire so I could get the plug unconnected. So I just hooked it up my way, so if I ever need to remove it, I can remove it. So that's why this is like this. But pretty much everything's gonna come out. All the bolts are out. There's 10 in total, and then 5 on the top side. So like I said, 10 on here, 5 on the top side. Everything comes off. So we're gonna go ahead and lift the head out and see what kind of damage we have on the motor. Hopefully the motor itself on the bottom side or the top surface of the block is not warped. I don't think so, but we're gonna go ahead and check anyways. But the heads are gonna 100% get sent out to the machine shop. I'm gonna have to take them to the machine shop, have them do the complete head job, and then once everything's back, we're gonna go ahead and put new head gaskets on it and the whole 9 yards. So I got a complete kit for the car, and we're gonna go ahead and put everything together. Hopefully when I fire it up, we could put in some cheap oil, drain it, and then just put fresh oil after that, and hopefully the car runs good so we can drive it and enjoy it. So there's an update for you guys, or a sneak peek, not a sneak peek, but this is like an overview of what's going on so far. So there you go, guys. going on, you guys? So real quick, I just want to hop in and just say that we just removed the heads off of the vehicle. So I removed it with the exhaust manifold because it was easier to remove it with the exhaust manifold as opposed to removing it just the head alone. So now we're gonna just jump into, or what you guys will see is me working on the motor mounts. Now that we have the heads off, we can actually have access to replacing the motor mounts, or replace the motor mounts on both sides. Also the transmission mount, which also came in the kit. I got all my parts from Rock Auto, so I'm going to go ahead and replace all of those components and pretty much go from there. So I just want to hop in and tell you that you guys will now see a couple of days later that I'm replacing the motor mounts and making sure to go in and replace anything that I need to. But as of right now, we're just going to be replacing the motor mount, so that's what you guys will see. And then eventually, in the end of the video, I'll hop in and explain a little bit more about the top portion of the head. Alright, you guys, so pretty much before I close anything up, the bolts have been cleaned with the wire wheel inside the garage. Got new anti-seize put on, or we put on some anti-seize on the bolts, all of them. Bolts over here also have anti-seize. Everything's been tightened down, make sure nice and tight so none of the bolts come loose. And then if we come over on the other side, I'll show you guys. Alright, you guys, so we did the same thing on the other side. We also put the heat shield on, tying these bolts down, put a little bit of anti-seize. So this side is pretty much done. We gotta go on the other side and finish it, but before I do that, I wanted to show you how it looks. So pretty much this side is ready to go. The only thing we have to do next after this is the transmission mount, because I got the kit, or they sell the kit on Rock Auto, so it actually provides you with the two motor mounts that you need and the transmission mount, or you can buy them separate. I went and bought them as a kit, and that's what they offer, so that's what I did. So we're gonna go ahead and finish the other side, and then we're gonna try to finish the transmission mount. If we don't do that, then we're gonna definitely do it another day or tomorrow whenever we have some time. Alright you guys, so we got a brand new alternator. Yes, I went ahead and replaced the alternator that was on here, and from what I realized when I removed it, removed the one that was originally on the car, it actually had a Denso sticker on it. So I believe the original one went bad and they had replaced it with a Denso unit. So I went ahead and replaced this anyways because I don't want to come back in here a second time or a third time or whatever it is and try to replace the alternator. So now that I have everything apart, this is the time to go ahead and change some stuff. So I went ahead and put a Remy brand new, it's a brand new alternator. Yes, for this car you can find brand new ones. For other vehicles you only find remanufactured, so this is a brand new one. It even says it on the box, new. So it's a brand new Remy alternator. The motor mounts are in on this side, also on this side as well. Just covered the motor to make sure nothing gets in it as I close the hood. Tomorrow we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna probably replace the hoses that come off of the heater core. So one's inlet, one's outlet. We're gonna go ahead and replace them. Yes, they're not bad, these hoses. They're still in good shape. You can tell they are they do not have any cracks on them, so they're in good shape. But I'm gonna go ahead and change them anyways because now is the time to change them, since I've already taken the heads off and it's a lot easier for me to do, so I don't have to come back in here a second time and change these out. So we're gonna put brand new ones, and then we also have to change the transmission mount and whatever else we have to do. We're gonna go ahead and address them now that we have the motor partially taken apart. So that's the plan. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow in the morning. Alright you guys, so I'm back. So pretty much wanted to just end the video here because I'm pretty sure you guys have seen enough of me doing a bunch of work, removing basically the rocker arms, the push rods, the heads, the head gaskets, the head with the exhaust manifold, the intake manifold, the valve cover gasket, spark plugs, you name it. So we did quite a bit of work, so I figured this is a good time to end the video. And then the next video, guys, we'll see what other stuff we're going to be doing now that we have the heads off and whatnot. So basically what I wanted to bring to your attention now that I have your attention is that when you're removing the cylinder heads, you want to make sure that you take them obviously to a machine shop. They need to get taken to a machine shop so they could do a complete head job, so they can resurface the heads, put new valves in if needed, or they need to be cleaned, or whatever they're going to do. New valve springs, valve stem seals, you name it. So number one thing you want to do is make sure you take it to a good quality machine shop that will take care of the heads for you. And then obviously you're going to need new head gaskets. The thing I want to bring to your attention is when you have the heads off, you want to make sure to vacuum obviously the area that has basically oil in the cylinders or coolant. You want to make sure you vacuum that out. What I did was eventually just attached a much smaller hose to the hose attachment on my vacuum, and I sucked all the oil and coolant. You obviously didn't see it because the camera died, so I sucked all of that stuff out of the cylinders, and then after that I just basically wiped it down, and then I basically used WD-40 and Scotch Brite pad. I believe that's what it's called, the green one. Basically everybody has one in their homes when you clean the dishes and whatnot. So you can get them online, you can get them on Amazon. They have different colors. You want to use the lightest one first, and then you can obviously go a little bit to a much aggressive material. The colors will basically be, the lightest one is a certain color, and then the much aggressive one will be a different color. So you want to make sure you pick the right one first and just start slowly. So just WD-40 the whole area, and gently just use your Scotch Brite pad to basically just go over the surface and remove all of the debris that's been left there. When you're doing the cleaning, you want to make sure you bring the you want to make sure you bring all of the cylinders, or the cylinder you're working, to top dead center. So all the way up, bring it all the way up, and you can put a little bit of white lithium grease around the area where the piston where the piston ring normally is. So if you bring the head up all around the edge of it, you can put up just a little bit of white lithium grease, and then when you're finished, you can use a very small hose attached to your vacuum, and you can suck it out. And that's what I did to basically prevent any dirt going down in between the edges of the piston. That's one way you can do it, or you can use some wax or whatever you find easier. You can look up videos online, it'll show you how to do it. And then if you're going to use a basically razor blade, you want to make sure you use the razor blade. So pretend my hand is a razor blade, and this is the deck of the block. You want to make sure you put the blade on this way and just gently scrape away. You don't want to go on on an angle and cut into or put lines or cuts in the actual deck. You want to make sure you do it properly. There's videos online, you can do it. I just didn't record it because the camera went dead. So the only way to explain it is just to tell you guys now. So you want to make sure, like I said, you want to take the heads off. You want to make sure you take them to a quality machine shop that will take care of the heads for you. Make sure to order some good quality head gaskets. I ordered Felpro. You can order OEM ones or Felpro. They all do the same thing. Just make sure you get good quality ones. They do sell a head gasket kit. So now that I remember, you can actually purchase the head gasket kit online. Basically, it comes with everything you'll need: the fuel injector seals, intake manifold gaskets, valve cover gaskets, the head gaskets that you'll need, and all that. So it comes in a packet, or it comes in a big package, and you can order them online, and you can get everything. Or you can just order stuff separately, but if you buy them separately, you'll have to spend a little more. And also, you want to make sure that when you're going to be doing this job, you want to make sure that the exhaust manifolds are cleaned on the surface that's going to mate to the side of the head. So just take a wire wheel brush and just gently clean the exhaust manifolds, and make sure you use either new exhaust manifold bolts or aftermarket ones. I use the ARP head bolts, exhaust manifold bolts. Slap them on and called it a day. So those are just some few things I wanted to bring to your attention. Like I said, just pulled the head off. It was a lot easier just to pull the head off with the exhaust manifold. And now that I'm there, you guys will eventually see in the next upcoming videos, I'm not sure how many videos there will be, of me just replacing stuff now that we have everything taken apart. It's a lot more easier for me to replace. So I think I'm going to be replacing some other stuff as well. I don't remember, but we got a lot of work to do. Pretty much we did a lot of work in this video here, you guys. So I just wanted to just basically end it here. I think we did a good job, and that's pretty much it, you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And with that being said, you know the vibes. I'm out. Alright, you guys, so I just wanted to hop in. I'm not out just yet. I just wanted to mention something before I forget. I should have mentioned it before. Basically, when you're doing this job, whether it is for your SRT8, 300, WK1 Jeep, 5.7 liter Hemi, whatever car it is, basically applies to every vehicle, not just my vehicles, but to every car in general. You want to make sure you use brand new parts and components. Basically, what that means is you need to use new head bolts, new exhaust manifold gaskets, new head gaskets, new valve cover gaskets. You want to make sure you use brand new parts when you're doing this. There's obviously a reason why you just can't reuse some of the old components. For example, you cannot reuse old head gaskets. They're not going to seal, and it's going to cause a leak. Same thing can be applied towards the head bolts. The head bolts, once they're installed, they get stretched, and they're basically for the garbage. So they're no use for you anyway. So you need to use brand new hardware, in other words. So when you're doing this, you want to make sure you use brand new head bolts. I went with basically OEM head bolts, and they're torqued to spec or owner's specification. So you want to make sure you use good quality, obviously, head bolt. You want to use a good quality head gasket, and you want to use a good quality exhaust manifold gasket. Now that you have the head off of the vehicle and the exhaust is gonna come out, you want to make sure you use a good quality exhaust manifold, and also you want to use a good quality exhaust manifold stud or bolt. If you're going to reuse your old ones, go ahead and clean them with a wire wheel. Maybe apply a little bit of Loctite or anti-seize or whatever you want to do. Make sure you torque them down to spec or tighten them to make sure you don't have any leaks. Same thing gonna be applied for any other bolt. Obviously the head bolts, you're not gonna use anti-seize or Loctite. You're obviously gonna put a little bit of oil on it, and then they will get torqued down to spec. But what I want to bring to your attention is that you want to use new hardware in this situation. You don't want to reuse anything that you took off of the vehicle. You're gonna run a risk of basically causing catastrophe. You're gonna basically end up spending more money to fix what you did wrong. So this applies for every vehicle, not for the 300 SRT8, not for my Jeep SRT and whatnot. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Make sure you buy good quality parts and make sure you buy everything you need to do it. Obviously, I didn't show much of the stuff that I bought, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Very important you use good quality parts. You make sure you take your time doing this job. Make sure you don't forget anything. Make sure you torque everything down as needed and take pictures and videos if you're doing it so you can do it the correct way. So that's pretty much it, you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And with that being said, you know the vibes. I'm out. What's going on, you guys? So just real quick before we end the video, yes, I know I just hopped in another third time. But basically what I want to point out is when you guys saw me removing the cylinder heads, I obviously did not show it on camera. I did it off camera, but what you want to do is you want to make sure you remove all the coolant from all of those little coolant passages or coolant jackets on the cylinder block. You want to make sure you get all the coolant removed, whether this is to either remove the block completely or to somehow suck all the fluid out. In my case, I had to actually attach a smaller attachment to the vacuum. I have a dry and wet vac that I got from Home Depot a long time ago. So I attached smaller attachments in order to feed the small hose into all the passages and remove all the old contaminated fluid, because I had oil mixed with coolant or coolant mixed with oil, however you want to put it. So I had to obviously remove all that fluid since I'm doing the installation, or going to be doing the installation of the head gasket, cylinder heads. Obviously you guys will see that in the near future, in the future videos. But you obviously have to remove all the old coolant. In your case, if your coolant is fine, then you could probably get away with it. I would do it anyways, just remove all the old coolant just to be safe. I didn't know how old the coolant was or how contaminated it was, and it was contaminated, but I didn't want to take a risk, so I ended up just sucking all the fluid out. You got a lot of fluid out of it, so I just want to make sure, or I just wanted to make it known so that if you guys do end up pulling the cylinder heads, you guys can go ahead and remove all the old fluid. Obviously, there was no way for me to pull the freeze plugs because the freeze plugs are on the bottom, on the side of the block, and there was no way for me to obviously pull the freeze plugs. There's just no room unless I pull the block out of the car and I just turn the motor over, or just pull the plug and let the fluid come out. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention so that if you guys do get to that point in your engine tear down, you obviously know that you guys have to, get the fluid out of there. No matter what, I would obviously remove the fluid, whether it's contaminated or not. I will go ahead and get that fluid out of there. So I just wanted to make that known to you guys. So if you do get to that point, make sure to do it. All right, you guys. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and you know the vibes. I'm out.